What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys are on a fantastic day today. And today we're going to be going over a very interesting NG Models announcement on their social media pages for you guys. So this is a very interesting announcement that I definitely want to do a deep dive into, because I felt like you have to look at this announcement from all perspectives, because there's quite a lot of context to it from what I have observed and what we've seen from NG Models. I'm not saying that it's particularly bad, but there's some places that do worry me a little bit. So I thought I would take a deep dive into it and take a look at it with you guys today. So we're just gonna dive right into it. So on their Instagram, Facebook, I believe were the only two platforms that they use at the current time. I know they did Twitter for a bit, but I believe that's since been inactive. This was posted last night, but when you guys seen this video, yeah, pretty much last night for the most part. NG Models Global posted on their Instagram a nice picture with a snowman and a variety of, I guess, anime figures, whatever you want to call it. It says, "Merry Christmas and Happy New Year." I do find it interesting how they did the triangles or whatever, the arrow things. Interesting. "In this romantic, scary, and warm holiday arrival, we sincerely wish all of our friends and collectors a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Next Generation Model. Thank you for all the great models that you make. In the coming 2021, we will bring you about 10 new mold sets. At the same time, we are preparing new production sites to expand production capacity, which will be more than 3 times the current one. We will also try more interesting ways to bring more fun to the hobby. So we believe that more collections wishes will be realized, in 2021. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, NG team." That was their first post in about 15 days. So a nice long little hiatus there, or not hiatus, but a little intermission. So there's a lot of things that I have to say about their post. I'm gonna start with the more, I feel like the, how should I word this? The really like long-term good thing, and that is more production sites. If you guys can't tell, NG Models has definitely struggled when it comes to getting these models done on time. In a few cases, they really struggled when they were smaller back in 2018-19. Some people didn't even get models, but I feel like around that July timeframe of 2019, they really picked it up, and they've done a very good job for the most part. However, I know that JetBlue, I believe, had shortages, and there was a couple other planes mixed in here and there. The luxury liner, I think, did. There was a variety of planes that definitely did not get the full production line, unfortunately, just due to how high the demand is. So I feel like the new production sites will be very beneficial. And then I'll talk about how I feel like they will impact the molds when we talk about the next point, because I have a lot to say about that part of it. But I really feel like these new production sites, 3 times what they have, is really going to help. I'm not sure if this means new quantity necessarily of these models, but I do have to think that regardless, that means that positivity will be coming from having more sites and everything. So that's good to know that they're making a great amount of money to where they are able to keep expanding. So that was pretty much the first point I wanted to make. So I do want to make my next point, and that is, going to the big topic, and that is the 10 or around 10 new mold sets. 10 new mold sets. That is absolutely crazy to think about. So they said around, so it could be 8, could be 12, and something like that. So I have a lot to say about this. So I'm going to try to start with every aspect of it, and I'm not going to try to make it negative. That's not what I'm trying to do, but I feel like it has to be looked at from all perspectives. So the first thing I want to dive into is that, let's start with the big positive thing. If they're able to do a significant amount of molds, they have about 8 or so, 8 or 10. That's about what they have. So if they're going to double that, that is absolutely incredible. I'll talk about it more towards the end of the video, but that seriously, if things go well with this, that could seriously put them completely on the map to compete with Gemini jets, in my opinion. I know I talked about it earlier in the year, how they became a force, and I believe they have, but if they gain an additional 10 molds, that is, and keep the frequency of models that they've been doing from anywhere from 10 to 20, that is going to really start to catch up to Gemini jets, I feel like, a little bit. So on top of that, I feel like that's going to be if everything goes well, it's going to be incredible. However, I do feel like there is a lot of potential for this to potentially, I feel like there's potential for some hiccups, and I'll talk about why. So the first and foremost thing that comes to my mind is 10 is a huge number. That's nearly one per month. And you have to think about it as, let's think about the molds that they have already done. The A321, or shared or whatever, Panda or whatever, A321, and they have their own 747 SP, YC20. I think the L1011 was introduced in 2019. I could be wrong in that, but it was, I think, late last year, nevertheless, and the A350. And we've seen a few slight hiccups with, especially the A321 in the summer with the QC, and I believe there has still been QC issues. You saw my Rouge to this point on those, and on top of that, the 747 SP, the Iran Air, I believe, had a couple of defects with some paint scratches, chips, and horizontal stabilizers, and then the A350. Citrus Aviation didn't get his tire. Aviation 18 missed a horizontal stabilizer. And I'm sure there's been a couple more hiccups here and there even. But the real thing is just the slight defect in the 747 SP. I think people were a little upset about the nose, but that's not particularly my expertise, as I'm not the big retro collector. So if there's any retro collectors watching that want to confirm that, you're welcome to. But I just saw some post online. Vice versa goes for the A350, mainly with that nose wheel landing gear. That's what I've noticed. I really almost want to get one just to put it up to a Gemini and just see what it's actually all about, which I'm kind of considering doing. But if you have one, please let me know what you think. But the A350 and 747 SP and A321, that does not take away that they are excellent molds, but there is a slight few hiccups. But the reason I bring up the hiccups is because that could be exactly what happens. At least that's the track record that next generation model has presented, unfortunately. And I completely understand with being such a small company, and you have to think that they're somewhat pressured in a few ways, just because I know they spend a lot of times on these models. It's very obvious. However, you have to feel like sometimes a couple things slip up here and there when they're trying to get these molds out. So if they're going to do 10 of them, I really don't like to be picky, I really don't. But if you're 3 for 3 on a couple of hiccups in a 6-month span, unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to completely bounce back. Now, the new sights, that's what I was trying to say, is potentially that could have a factor on everything being perfect. But you have to think, if they're going to do 10, some of these are probably already done and ready to go. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this comes about. I'm very interested to see what all comes about of these new molds. Obviously, it could be completely flawless and end up going crazy well. I hope for a good balance and blend between retro and modern molds. That would be very good. But nevertheless, I'm still super excited. Even if they choose to do a couple more retros, I completely understand that, because there's a big market for retros, especially at the price point that next generation model is. Mainly it's the younger generation that's into the modern stuff. It kind of explains itself. But I really feel like if this is done right, it has so much potential. But yeah, it's gonna be super interesting to see how next generation goes about this. I'm super excited, but at the same time, just a little nervous. But I really feel like they're gonna do a good job with all these new sights and everything. But man, I am just shocked. 10 is a lot, man. 10's a lot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This is going to be absolutely incredible to see next generation do this. Sorry, I'm kind of at a loss for words of how big it is. Also, this really shows how big their budget is right now. Obviously, they've probably made a ton of money. That number we don't know, but we do know that how many models we've all bought from them. So I do feel like if these molds are done really well, obviously they're gonna make a ton of more money and they're gonna keep doing them. Also, that kind of brings to mind with all these new models is hopefully licensing does not become an issue. It's incredible to me that they've made it all the way through this point with no licensing issues whatsoever, which is pretty awesome. I love the Her Arts and the R2D2, but that for three models is it. That's pretty dang impressive. But I'm just super excited to see what's to come with all these new models. I don't really have any predictions, probably half like I said, but as for the molds, absolutely crazy. Hopefully they're able to go through with most of them and maybe a few hiccups here and there, but that's going to mean that that's going to lead us into our next point, which I do want to briefly touch on. So that leads me to the point that I really feel like next generation models really has potential to start completely 100% competing with Gemini jets. I believe they already have, but I believe if they get 10 new molds successfully and not have many hiccups for the price point, I really feel like next generation models will be 100% competing with Gemini jets, because you have to take a look at what NG already has done. A lot of people did not know they were even a company at the beginning of 2020. And now at the end of 2020, there's a good chance that a collector probably has a few NG models, if not more. So I can say for myself, I had 3 at the end of 2019. And at the end of this year, I think I have more like 3 dozen or 4 dozen. So that really shows how quickly NG models has become a force. And the same vice versa goes. I used to never pre-order models from NG models at all at the end of 2019. And now I think a lot of people can also say, including myself, that I pre-order pretty much a model from every release. And I know that it's not going to go for everybody. Everybody's situation is different. But everybody can at least say that they are completely paying attention to NG models, pre-orders, and all their new models, and their social media pages, and everything along the lines of that. So, wow, it is incredible. I really do feel like next generation models does have a real shot. We talked about in that video in April's, when that release came out, that they were really putting themselves on the map, and I feel like they can do a lot of the same. I feel like balance and blend is going to be a huge part of it. They've done an excellent job satisfying the needs of collectors around the world, and I feel like that's still going to be a major factor. That's something that Gemini Jets also doesn't do particularly perfectly, and it's understandable, but they don't completely look at everything and try to release it. I think Next Generation has done a really good job trying to do that with the molds that they have, and only the new molds, if they're able to be done, will completely 100% help that to a whole new stratosphere, in my opinion. So yeah, Next Generation has so much potential, there's no doubt about it. So that's pretty much what I had for this video. I didn't want to drag it out too long, but I did definitely want to give my opinions on these new molds, the new sights, and then Next Generation's big time potential for 2021. I'm going to be super eager to see everything, and let me know if you guys enjoyed these little news segment videos. If there's something that I want to talk about, I'll probably come on here and talk about it. But if you guys like to see on a more regular basis, please do so. I'm sorry I forgot to address at the beginning of the video, but happy holidays, everybody. I hope you guys are all having an awesome Christmas Eve, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic Christmas and everything. We do have 2 new videos tomorrow, and then we'll have the Gemini Jets tier list on Saturday, which just a little teaser. Very, very excited for that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing if you would. I'm going to move that to the end of the video starting next year, because I feel like I'm at that point. I don't need to say it anymore. I'm not doing this for subscribers and likes, but it definitely truly does help me out if you consider doing it, just so you don't miss out on any content to come, as I always said. So thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Merry Christmas Eve and Christmas, and happy holidays to all of you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys.